Welcome, everybody, and welcome to the brand new podcast, The Syde Effect. The Syde Effect, everything what we cover here is about web solutions, it's about open source, it's about WordPress, building scalable solutions, these kind of things. I'm Ronny Marx. I'm the commercial director of Syde. I'm taking care of all partnership, new partnerships, existing partnerships, marketing and sales. And today I brought my dear colleague Ollie with me. He's also as me in Hamburg, and we're working remotely, and that's the reason why we're sitting at different screens. Hi, Ollie.
Hey, hi, Ronny. Yeah, my name is Gadow. I am the account director at Syde, so I'm caring for existing clients and building up the partnership with them and trying to bring more value on those relationships with them. We are really thrilled to kick this journey off today with our customers, with our partners, with the wider WordPress community, and everyone who is interested to unlock more with WordPress. Yeah, we're really happy to be here the first time. So let's see where it starts and where it goes.
Yeah, perfect introduction here, because also talking about Syde, the Syde Effect in the middle, the word Syde. Syde is the name of our agency. It's, by the way, the biggest WordPress agency in Europe. We're very proud of it. More than 120 employees work in this company solely remotely. That's also the reason why we're sitting in front of the camera right now. And last time I checked, our colleagues are spread across 50 different countries, languages, cultures. So it's very exciting to have so many different colleagues here. When we talk about Syde and our core business, just a few words about that. WordPress, obviously we're in the web technology area, but also what we are always keen to do is building scalable, building secure and performance-driven projects for more or less enterprise clients, for very high spending and big clients in the world, enterprise clients, pharma, media companies, and all these kind of things. And for us, and this is the topic of today, beyond the power of WordPress and beyond code, it's all about partners, building partnerships. We are a service provider, an agency. That's very obvious so far. And I'd say a lot of other agencies out in the world would say, yeah, definitely we are about building up partnerships. I'm in the agency business for years now, with Syde only nearly 1 year. And Ollie, you have a lot of experience yourself when it comes to winning clients, keeping clients, and also building up relationships with clients. What would you say? What is the most important thing when it comes to Syde and partnerships? Is this only a saying, or is this something what we really live and love to live here?
I think based on the experience for about a year, so I started September last year, I think we are very close with our clients. And very close does not only mean that we deliver our projects in time and budget, that we know our stakeholders. Close also means that we know about the values a company is looking for, the purpose of the project, goals of the stakeholders being involved at a project. So I think it's not only about what we find in an RFP or RFI, it's also what's behind the stakeholders, what's behind the strategic goal of a company. And I think we've especially grown in the last year of getting much closer to our clients. I think we have been very close due to our technical expertise, due to our community expertise in the WordPress area, and also being around all over the world. But now I think we also saw and recognized that it is important to understand the client stakeholders also as a person, as a human being, because if everything runs fine, it's always easy. If there are things we have to discuss, or if we have to facing challenges, it is good to know whom we are talking to, and whom is not only a role, whom is the person behind that role. And this is what I think, where we increased our knowledge during the last 12 months very much and got even closer to those clients or partners.
Definitely also partners. I just named it. Talking about clients also means talking about human beings. They all have their different goals, ideas, challenges, fears, maybe. When a new client approaches us and say, we need a new website, for example, here's maybe our RFI with some technical requirements. And in some cases, in many cases, it's not so detailed. And that's not a big problem because they only have in mind, okay, a new website is needed because we have some challenges here and there. But the challenges are, let's say, different, and we should separate them from the business and from the client business side, but also when it comes to their personal goals. A CEO, a CFO, a CSO, a project manager, they all have different perspectives. And that's also why we invented the discovery service, to just go deeply before the project really starts, deeply into the client's, purpose, what they really need, and talking about stakeholders. For me, it's a very important step to building up a relationship from the start. And that's exactly, I guess, what you in the account management are also trying to achieve all the time with projects, right? Building and understanding the client's business.
Yeah. And I think you just mentioned the discovery service, and perhaps saying normally sometimes it starts with an RFI or RFP. And this is just written questions, requirements, whatever, what a few people in a company think has to be covered in a project. But there's much more behind. And I learned in a training where it comes to customer-centric selling, don't answer an RFP or RFI without talking to the people. And they have really trying to teach us to push back and not responding at all to an RFP and RFI, which is not working, not all the time. But I think the discovery service is the best approach, really, to look behind the scenes. And behind the scenes is really meaning to get a better knowledge about the client, the values they are looking for, the goals also the personal stakeholders have in the system, and how we can bring them together, but also seeing that there might be some difficulties coming up, which we can address fairly early in the service. And I just can recommend, if it comes to a bigger project, to invest those few thousand euro, US dollar, whatever, but getting a much clearer picture, a documented picture or painted picture of what's going on if they're going to have a project with us. For sure, it's always good for the client to get our perspective, which is an external perspective, which is a perspective based on our knowledge with a lot of enterprise clients all over the world in different industries. And therefore, I think it really brings value to this process of an evaluation for which system a customer is going to decide.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about value, as you just mentioned, we are, as mentioned, also a remote working company. So everyone here, more than 120 employees from all over the world, working solely remotely. But for us, and also, of course, for you, because you have to deal with the clients and the projects once they are won, it's very important to really getting to know them, right? So really deeply connecting to them as human being, as person, not only as their role in the or their position in the company. And that's also the reason why you and our CEO, like only in a couple of weeks now, from now on, are going to visit some of our clients to the United States. You're traveling all the way from Germany, from Hamburg and Hamburg, from our core seat, so say, to the US, and visiting clients in New York, in Boston, in Portland. For me, this is kind of really special. Also being in the agency business for years, but just traveling around the world only for a business meeting, just shaking hands, saying hello, meeting the real people in the real world. This is really special. This is what I say our commitment, really, starting a partnership. So I guess it's the same picture for you, the same perspective, I guess.
Yeah. If you look at our client structure, there are really a lot of big clients spending a 7-digit amount in a year.
True.
Honestly, if I would be in the position of the client, my expectation would be that, don't know, account director, account manager, commercial director is going to visit me if it comes to this amount of money for several years. And I think this is where we started this year. I've already been in the US to visit a client there. We have been in the Netherlands. We were in Munich. We were in Munich twice. Now we are heading to Boston and New York. And I think it's not because I feel obliged to do so. It's more that I really would like to get closer to our clients and also give the client the opportunity to talk to me or to our CEO in a different setting, because in our daily or day-to-day work, working remotely and doing everything on Zoom or Teams or whatever, Normally, this is fairly streamlined process, and is a small greeting. There's no real small talk, but meeting a client in person, spending some time, don't know, with a drink or dinner, gives all of us the opportunity to understand better, address challenges, address also issues we see in a different setting. And therefore, I'm really keen on rolling this out as a recurring process. And you just mentioned we are heading to New York and Boston, and we are going to visit a client. One client, for example, we are already working with in Europe, but I think we all know from good press or WordPress that the culture is different. We see it every day on TV, how donor communication in the US is differing to our communication on a personal level. And therefore, I think really to bridging those different cultures, it's so important to meet in person, to get to know each other, because when we then get back in our remote environment, it's much easier to understand when a person is very direct, not rude, but direct. And if you perhaps haven't met this person, you think, well, this was not nice. But now we know this person is communicating this way, other persons are communicating in a different way, and we are able to deal with it. And this really helps in building, especially those long-term relationships.
Also to getting them privately, right? So like getting to know them privately. I mean, in the end, what I always tell our colleagues, just pick up the phone and just call someone, or at least schedule a meeting, because now I can see you smiling. I can at least see a bit of your body language. And I see, okay, is Ollie now maybe angry? Is he mad, or is he in a good mood? And it's the same, and especially so important for client. When it comes to clients, just meeting them on the ground where they are, where they live, where they just feel comfortable, but also just talking to them in the private life to say, okay, you are a human being, I'm a human being. Definitely we deliver code. This is a project. This has to be successful. This is our foundation. But for me, partnerships are going way beyond this kind of only delivering something and just check marking it, and that's it, basically. And that's exactly what you just told me. You're just going there, you're investing time, not only because the client is spending so much money for a project, for a big one, but also because I really can read you here. You're excited about it. You want to meet the people, you want to meet the human beings behind the project. And especially for me and for the entire site company, this is about building relationships. I mean, we are, as you just said, you were in the account management, traveling across Europe and to the States. I was in Manila beginning of the year, also in Basel, Switzerland, meeting partners and clients over there as well. So we're trying our best, our very best, to really getting to know the people. Would you say the same thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And although now I will be traveling for about 2 weeks, it will be tough time differences. Also, when we're going from Boston to Portland, there's again a time difference. But we will not be able to build this kind of relationship, though we perhaps just meeting a client for 2 or 3 hours, just based on remote work. And what I recognize also on remote, especially I think in larger companies, there's not the habit, and it's not to judge, it's just because I recognize there's not the habit that people are turning on their camera, because you too don't know the culture in the company. And it is so hard to understand, especially dealing with different cultures, not speaking mother tongue. It's so hard to not reading or hearing anything else, which was perhaps not meant, but because we do not see the person, we do not see, as you mentioned, smile or hard face or whatever. And therefore, this is so important.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the end, human beings working together with human beings. It's about delivering a project. Only back just a couple of weeks back in the past, I gave a talk with one of our clients at the stage with Swiss Info. We just did a great job there with them together. It's not only about us and say, oh, we are the great guys here. Definitely we are. But in the end, the clients are working with us together. In this case, it worked out perfectly over years, kind of. The project is still not done. And that's also the reason why the client was ready for with us together, step up to the stage and talking about this project very openly. And this would never have happened when we just are only a service provider delivering a piece of code and that's it, right? And this was, for me, one of the best examples how we work perfectly together in kind of a partnership. And when you look back to your accounts, to your projects, are there any other successful partnership projects you would mention here right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you mentioned Swiss Info. I think we have one of our delivery squads only dealing with payment providers, and there is, for example, the company Payoneer or the company Molly, and there's also a big other payment provider. And this is also an advantage we bring to those customers. We are working successful with them for 4 years, 5 years, also 6 years. I think this is the time range. And for sure, because we are focused on this industry or on this area, we have a big knowledge. And also to mention that there is one of our partners, not client, but partners, WooCommerce, and we are close to this partner, WooCommerce. We have a lot of insights. We have a lot of knowledge exchange. And this is also what we bring to our customers as a real value, and helping them also to get another perspective of their business, because we are the experts in the WooCommerce area, in the WordPress area. They are, on the other hand, a payment provider using the plugins, but they're not that deep into it. And I think it is important to understand how this community works and to bring this knowledge together. And I think the payment gateway area is a really successful one, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I could just expand this kind of discussion on and on, because as you can see, when you look in your face, you're just smiling when you're talking about clients. And
Yeah.
I know you a bit right now, and I can tell everyone here right now watching and listening to this, you can hear the smiling in your voice. And that's really what makes Syde a different thing, like really being on the client side. Last question to you, Ollie, just looking at the timeline here right now. You talked about understanding the client, being there for the client, and these kind of things, especially when it comes to WordPress community. It's special. It's not like any kind of other web technology or web solution. WordPress and open source is definitely special. Maybe a short answer. What is the perfect partnership for you, especially in the WordPress community, when it comes to service providers like we are?
So I think perfect partnership. Normally, we are not alone with our clients. This is also partnership. We have hosting providers who are hosting our solution, and we need them, and we are working really close. And this is also helping us to build a good client relationship. So perhaps to mention WordPress VIP, we are very close with them.
Yeah.
But there are also others. So I think bringing together the right people in the right roles, bringing together the right tech providers. This could be us. This could also be partners. The more we grow into other industries, the more we see there is a need of integrating third parties to help our client to have the same experience, perhaps with a former system. But I think always staying as a partner and advisor. I think just moving things from left to right is not going to generate value. It is just going to create a check mark saying, okay, this is done. But I don't want to stay on this level. I don't want to either be on this level. I would like to grow in the position that we are a trusted partner. We are advising our clients to do things perhaps also differently than they think they should do it, just with the goal of establishing their business based on WordPress and on the technique we are providing.
Perfectly described. I say, really can feel what we really mean when we talk about partners. Hopefully, we can share some more infos and more details about the successful projects here. And also, we will invite some external guests to this kind of podcast, sometimes with you, sometimes with me, sometimes with the both of us. So let's see. Thank you again for your time and sharing this information, these details and insights with our guests here. And hopefully you will subscribe to this new podcast. We will deliver a lot of more new content the next weeks and months. You can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you are and where you want to listen to that. And Ollie, hopefully we see us again in that kind of podcast, but definitely we'll see us again in internal meetings with clients and building up relationships and partnerships.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward how this is going to develop, and especially also to the first guest we might have here in the podcast. So really keen on seeing how it goes.
Nice.
And
Okay,
thanks for
Ollie.
having me.
Yeah, of course. You're welcome. It's always nice to chat with you. So thank you so much, and looking forward to the next podcast and new topics. Bye, Ollie.
Bye bye.